This is Grimm Grinner on all channels.
Welcome to the waste.
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 Welcome to the waste. Welcome to the waste.
Welcome to the wastes.
Welcome to the waste.
Welcome to the wastes. Good afternoon, Wasteland. Grimm Grinner here, broadcasting on all channels as I gear up for a bit of a longer haul trip than I've been on in a while. Just wanted to make sure I get in some updates before I hit the dust for what honestly could be a couple of weeks as far as I know. First off, I've received reports of trade caravans being attacked en route to Ausun by what seems like a new group of bandits or raiders. There hasn't been any sort of indicators or names attributed to the Wastelanders doing this, unfortunately, so I really don't have much to go off of to give a solid warning. It does sound like they've been frequenting specifically the trade routes in the region, but not the courier trails. I would still caution anyone trying to switch to courier trails to keep your guard up, and maybe hire some mercenaries for some extra support just in case. I can't imagine who would be wanting to harm Wastelanders just seeking to trade and help out, but something smells a bit too corporate for my liking. Especially since I'm only hearing it on regular Wasteland frequencies and none of those corporate ones. Speaking of, yours truly is now sitting at a higher bounty for the creeps. If anyone wants to try and cash that in, I think it's somewhere in the neighborhood of, 35,000 credits. Which is about 2,000 to 3,000 more than the last I'd heard. Sounds like after recovering Haven, they have it out for me. But personally, I'm a bit hurt they didn't jump that bounty any higher, all things considered. Oh well. The Haven rebuild has actually been going fairly well. Mazzy and Lynx and the other have-nots are leading the charge on fortifying the existing walls that the corporations had put up. Plans are currently in place for repurposing some of those facilities they built into some more usable things like greenhouses and such. There's members from a handful of the major settlements and outposts making their way there as well, with the goal of turning it into a bigger community hub than it was back in the day. Certainly helps that some of the equipment like water purifiers and fuel processing tools were left behind and intact, so I guess in a small way, I gotta thank the corporations for being cowardly enough to run without sabotaging any of it. Last up, I've got a call on behalf of Balasar and the Phoenix Express looking for any able-bodied Wastelanders that want some extra caps for a variety of different jobs. But the biggest of these is a small force to go and back up some of the friendlier members of the Twin Town Militia against an assault by the Leafers. Turns out news has been spreading of the turmoil in Twin Town, and those puckheads thought they could muscle in and get some more territory. The hope with sending some assistance is that this might finally be a smooth end to these talks between Express and General Daggers on getting some of those trade routes through the area open again. So if you can handle a gun and want to grab a sweet fee, plus probably some extra armors and supplies, give Balasar a call on courier channel B-4759. He'll give you more details. Alright, Wasteland. Enough leaving you in suspense. Where am I going that you won't hear me transmitting? Well, a small while back, Jailbreak got a call from an old friend and mentor of his. Someone he befriended while locked up in one of those corporate detention centers that they used to actually use before they turned them into weapons depots and started hauling anyone they didn't ghost into the tower. This friend goes by the nickname The Tinkerer, and they taught Jailbreak a lot of the stuff he didn't get a chance to learn when he was younger. Of course, JD told me his real name, but that's not getting transmitted, since it's needed to be able to convince him I'm friendly. You see, while extremely intelligent, the Tinkerer is supposedly about as eccentric as Sam Saction, but with a few extra splashes of paranoia mixed in, meaning he's fortified his very well-hidden base with all sorts of failsafes. That means anyone just going in looking for the Tinkerer is going to get shown either the fastest way to get somewhere else, or a very terrifying and painful end. So knowing his actual name shows I'm more trusted, I guess. I'm really hoping this doesn't end poorly for me. But the real reason I won't be able to transmit on this journey is due to the nature of exactly where I'm going. Not only has the Tinkerer located his hideout in a dead zone, but even the area around there has been rigged with various bits of tech to try and scramble and fry any transmissions. That's just if you're lucky. If you're less so, you could trigger one of the aforementioned traps and just wind up a pile of ash blowing away in the wasteland breeze. Not only that, but if my signal can be tracked the way it has been in the past, I don't want to lead anyone to him. So, for the first time in a long time, I'm going to be leaving my transmission equipment here at the bunker, and will be relatively radio silent until I get back, or can at least get to a friendly outpost after or something. I will be taking some back routes and older courier roads for the first stretch, since I can navigate those pretty easily on my bike. From there, it's likely that even the corporation's best trackers wouldn't even be able to find where I'm heading. I'm hoping to be back within a couple weeks, but that could be longer depending on what I encounter out on the road. In the meantime, I will be setting up a small broadcast channel to transmit some things I've been kind of recording here and there when I've got some downtime here at the bunker, which should just be, at least entertaining. Some survival tips, maybe some poetry. That's if you turn into this frequency. Well, that's it for this final transmission for now, Wasteland. I gotta be making trails before nightfall if I want to make it to my first plotted checkpoint. This has been Grimm Grinner on all channels. See you in the wastes. Welcome to The Waste is a Wasteland podcast brought to you by Edward Grimm Grinner Hutchinson, but made possible by Wastelanders like you. If you'd like to support the show in a fun way or get some merch, check me out on Patreon or on Etsy. The links to both of those, as well as all my social media, can be found at linktree.com/welcome to the wastes. See you in the wastes.